All right, I think we're going here. Hey everybody, it is January the 6th, 2022. Crazy year so far. Anyway, yeah, it's crazy snow in Vancouver. Like Vancouver, British Columbia has been looks like winter wonderland out there. I was driving in Vancouver. It's like town. I live out in White Rock, but like driving through town, and it's crazy how the trees are all covered white. It's beautiful. Looks nice. But I'm over it. I want the sunshine. I missed that sun. So I think yesterday we talked a bit about vitamin D, and like we're gonna do is just keep it down to a lay person's sort of not overcomplicating things, but I just want to overemphasize the importance of vitamins and minerals. And we're working on the fat soluble vitamins right now. There's water soluble vitamins, fat soluble vitamins. Today it's the fat soluble vitamin A. That is, of course, we have vitamins A, D, E, and K are the fat soluble vitamins. We're going to work through each and every one of them. This one is vitamin A. We're going to have a little talk about it. And one thing that I was thinking of is how important nutrients are in the food matrix. Like from the natural food source, how these vitamins and minerals are there. They belong there. And it's funny how nature's done the perfect balance in the foods. So, you have certain things that work with other things that make it together, that make it like nutrient dense and bioavailable. And that bioavailable just means you're able to use it. It doesn't just pass through you or be sort of canceled out by something else. I mean, we can get into those things. But today we're going to talk about vitamin A. Very important. People underestimate vitamins and minerals, and this is the stuff that we need to help our macronutrients, our protein, carbs, and fat, do its thing. If we're deficient in them, like I believe I was saying before, is our bodies are very, very good at surviving. We will survive. We can be malnourished and sick and take a licking and keep on ticking, but there's certain things like the vitamin D I mentioned. The vitamin D is not necessarily, you can't really get it from food the best, so it's kind of different with vitamin A. Vitamin A is very, very easy to get from your diet. But there's a couple myths and there's a couple things that people don't really understand, which there are two forms of vitamin A. So, all the plant-based and all the meat eaters. Now, retinoic acid, there's a couple other forms of the animal version of vitamin A, the fat-soluble vitamin A. When we talk vitamin A, retinol, for the most part, is what our body processes. Now, there is another side of it that you can get from plants, from your carrots, your Swiss chard, and your kale, and they're carotenoids, specifically beta-carotene. Beta-carotene can be converted to retinol. So with that being said, there's a whole multitude of sources of vitamin A, and the thing that gets confusing is the fact that we know it's fat soluble. We know that it gets converted to retinol. Doesn't matter which form goes in, it gets converted to retinol. So if you have to do a couple processes in your body to get the beta carotene into retinol. Now there is a lot of nuance to this, because depending on how well your body absorbs the beta carotene, depending on your nutritional or vitamin status, will vary to break down that beta carotene into retinol. And also your gut health, your absorption, your microbiome, these things will come into play. So it's kind of one of those things where when you're doing the plant-based versus animal-based, vitamin A is one of those things that's heavy plant-based, or heavy animal-based, sorry. If you're eating Liver is the great, like, we've lost the ability to, like, we've lost the consummation of liver. I mean, you ask your parents or grandparents, they would always have liver once or twice or once in a while with liver and onions. I mean, people hated it, but it's such a nutrient-dense food that, you know, it's arguable that it's probably one of the best things you could possibly eat. Now, vitamin A is very prominent in liver. It's very prominent in. We're going to talk retinol here. This is the animal source, the egg yolks, butter, cheese, kind of the fatty things, right? Like, so another argument for why fat is good, because, you know, it's in cheese, it's in oily fish. So you've got that whole balance of omega-3 fatty acids, the EPAs and DHAs, the fish oil, right? That fish oil thing. But you can also eat the salmon and eat the mackerels and sardines and the oily ones, that, like, you know, cod liver oil, any liver, to be honest with you. Chicken liver, cod liver, beef liver, whatever liver you can get in there, do it, because it's good for you. And not to mention, if you take 1 teaspoon of cod liver oil a day, you have crushed your vitamin A necessity. Done. You're good. And that's, you know, regardless of your nutrition point, you're going to be getting sufficient amount of vitamin A. Now, there is a lot of stuff that gets confusing. Now, just supplementing vitamin A, that's where it potentially could be dangerous. There's a lot of bullshit out there about, you know, those people that eat polar bear liver, and it's, you know, well, a polar bear liver has 100,000 times the amount of vitamin A that a normal beef liver would have. So yeah, it would be a chronic overexposure to vitamin A would be not good. That would probably cause, like, a lot of bad things, but we're going to keep this sort of simple. So not good to overdo vitamin A, but if you're getting it from your diet, you should not have a problem. The way the RDA works and the way that they measure it is, there's an argument there, so we're going to get into that a little bit. Now, the RDA, depending on where you read it, is like 600 to 700, well, micrograms, we'll call it. Now, the upper daily limit is about 3,000 micrograms. So there's a window. We got a flex point, just like the vitamin D, but it's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit more focused and narrowed. So you want to be eating vitamin A-rich foods in the food matrix. You won't have to worry about these things. You don't have to read it. The problem is there's supplements out there that have, what are they called? Retinoic activity. I think it's called, equivalent, retinoic activity equivalent. Anyway, that is measured, and there's micrograms, there's IUs, and what do you do? How do you know what you're getting, what you need? Well, I'll tell you what, if you eat 1 ounce of liver a day, or maybe 3 or 4 ounces once or twice a week, you're good. You get egg yolks, you eat cheese, you know, all these things come into play. You know, and then, of course, you know, if you're having vegetables, so your dark leafy greens, your carrots and your bell peppers and Swiss chard and all that stuff, beta-carotene is there. So if your gut is good, you're healthy, you're processing all this stuff, you're getting vitamin A from a whole bunch of different sources. We don't have to worry about it so much. Now, what is it for? One big thing that gets overlooked about vitamin A, because we all think of our eyes, retinol, retina, right? It's for vision, yes. But it's responsible for tissue. It's responsible for building, or for, like, strengthening your mucosal layers and the stuff that sticks. It's your first line of defense. So vitamin A will help all those things, and that's where it gets into your guts too. Like your small intestine is a bunch of cells put together, and when they call it leaky gut, what happens is there's these proteins that connect these endothelial cells, I believe they're called. And when that protein gets breached or weakened, it's called a tight junction, and it starts to let loose the intestinal wall. So now you have intestinal permeability where bad things leak through that aren't supposed to be there. That is pretty much leaky gut. So when those bad things get through, you get symptoms of bad things. So if those tight junctions are real tight and they're doing their job, supposedly, like, with, you know, sticking together, they're only letting the good things that they're supposed to let through get through. That is not a leaky gut. So vitamin A helps with that. Vitamin A helps with your thymus gland, your T cells, your T cell production. It creates tissue. So it works with vitamin D. It binds to actually the vitamin D and helps. The vitamin D transcribes the information, and the vitamin A builds. So it's very, very good for skin, for, you know, like if you're looking at that from that vitamin D, what we talked about, the sunlight hits the skin, the vitamin D does its thing. Vitamin A creates the tissue that's protecting you. So we would say that you know, not to mention the beta-carotene plant side is also, the carotenoids have a lot of other different valuable functions. They're antioxidants, so they you know, there's a bunch of them, and they're good for helping you defend. But we're talking about the vitamin A, and you know, the problem is with you know, people underestimate these fat soluble vitamins, but they're very important. So and like we were talking about before, is that synergy factor. So they all work in synergy. So just being super A and having a horrible vitamin D status and a horrible K status, you know, what it's a balance. So you want to be sufficient, and you know, the upper limit is, you'd have to try hard. I mean, if you're taking vitamin A supplements, you might want to watch it, and you're eating a lot of vegetables and you're eating a lot of meat and butter and fat, sure, you know, you got to watch it. But we'll talk, the RDA is like 600, 700 micrograms a day. Upper limit is about 3,000. There's like, if you ate 100, okay, the best source, I think, pound for pound, so to speak, like in 100 grams of cod liver oil, I think there's like 100,000 micrograms of retinol, vitamin A. So you don't want to be doing that. Like a teaspoon is enough. Now, if you're converting it, now your gut's weak and you're not doing the right things down there, this comes into play. And I think creating a very well-rounded, not balanced, well-rounded diet and a well-rounded support system with your vitamins and minerals, included vitamin A, you're gonna be better off. And you can see vitamin A toxicity in your eyes. There's spots, and it's been known to not help you with anemia. So the your iron absorption and delivery, iron's involved with a whole bunch of stuff. So not only with pathogens and viruses and all that stuff love iron, but your body actually locks the iron, so it holds onto the iron, and the vitamin A helps everything sort of work together. So if you're not taking enough vitamin A, you're gonna see it, you're gonna feel it, and it's a very easy fix. You just have to eat these foods, and you know, I would strongly suggest getting it from food. You shouldn't have to supplement this. In fact, there was I learned about some studies, overheard it maybe on a podcast or on a lecture. They actually studied beta-carotene and the effects of beta-carotene on helping cancer. Now, they found beta-carotene combined with everything that was in the food matrix, like for instance with bell peppers and carrots, did help with, had a benefit on protecting against cancer. But when they actually just isolated the beta-carotene itself, they found harm. They actually found that it wasn't doing a good job. So there's a lot of things at play, and there's something that's called metabolomics, which study the effects of food in synergy on your metabolism, on how well you burn them and how well you absorb them. And this is fascinating stuff, because like we've scratched the surface with nutrition. We don't know nothing. We do know that you need food, you need energy, and you need vitamins, and you need minerals. These things are essential, right? You need to get these things. You can store vitamin A a little bit. So, you know, once you build a good vitamin A diet, you don't have to worry about being deficient. Just eat good things, and high vitamin A foods. Liver, liver. I can't say enough about. It's an unsung hero of the nutrition world, and anybody who argues that is crazy, because it's got so much nutrients. I mean, we're gonna get into the B vitamins and all the stuff that comes with liver. But yeah, you can get a cheese, just, fish, eat it, and vitamin A with a good vitamin D, and then with the K, and you'll get the K from butter, and sauerkraut actually is very good. Sauerkraut's incredibly interesting. I mean, there's people that say that it's the most healthiest, it's one of the healthiest things in the world. Quite possibly. I eat it. I've grown to love sauerkraut, actually. But the vitamins, you want to make sure that you're up there, especially nowadays, guys. Like, right now is the time to really, really take this stuff seriously. And it's not a multivitamin. It's food. It's your lifestyle. We can't get the sun right now. It's dark. So supplementing vitamin D would not be a bad idea. But vitamin A is very, very easy to get from your diet. Very easy to get adequate amounts, never being toxic. You don't have to worry about vitamin A toxicity if you're eating food. Deficiency, there's lots of stuff that we don't even realize that might be a vitamin A deficiency. I mean, and not to mention, like, the probably the worst side of a deficiency would be start noticing vision. I mean, they've linked vitamin A deficiencies to macular degeneration, night blindness, all these things that are increased. But so just eat good food, good fat, because we need it. It's fat soluble vitamin. So once again, you need the fat for the vitamin A to do its thing. So get it in you, and it could turn around. If you're down in the dumps, you're not feeling good, it could be a vitamin deficiency or insufficiency, so to speak. You might not be horribly depleted, but it's never a good thing. It's always a good thing to eat these foods, because they're nutritious and healthy for you anyway. So just get that stuff done. If you want, learn about that vitamin D. Just the last video was just fat soluble vitamins. Vitamin D. This one is vitamin A. So you can get this. It's easy. Just eat it. Eat it. And just be careful. If you're getting it from plant-based, or you're plant-based, a vegetarian or vegan, the amount of beta-carotene or carotenoids that converts to retinol is very subjective. You don't know how much exactly you're getting, because everybody's different, and you might need a little bit or a lot more than you think you do. So that might be something to have a look at. And if you are feeling some, you could Google vitamin A symptoms of deficiency. If you are, look at your absorption, look at your gut, look at your microbiome, get a nice diverse microbial action, whatever. And yeah, this is a short one, guys. So, well, sort of. Sorry about it. It's 18 minutes long. By the way, I had some pasture pork today, a little bit of pork loin, and a little bit of beef, a few eggs, avocado. I had iceberg lettuce salad with avocado, some organic tomatoes, and some red onions. It was delicious. A little extra virgin olive oil, a little sprinkling of oregano, salt, and some garlic, roasted garlic on that salad. Tossed it up. Delicious. Yeah, I'm having my green tea. I will have my coffee in the morning, and we will talk the next fat-soluble vitamin. Maybe we'll do the food matrix. I don't know. But the next fat-soluble vitamin will be vitamin K.